What is up, YouTube? It's Special Case 75 here to replay Sakura Alien Part 2. Let's get started. There's much to do, I don't know, but I am willing to learn. I want to discover all Earth has to offer with you, darling. And a bright smile appears in my heart. She's so earnest, optimistic, I can't help but find her charming. It doesn't hurt that she's so pretty either. It's a relief that, despite being an alien, she's undoubtedly humanoid. She has the correct configuration of limbs as far as I can see, only one head, and her teeth don't seem to be razor sharp. If she were a space octopus with squirming tentacles, I find it hard talking to her, no matter how well-meaning she is. But she looks like a regular human. It's pretty easy to talk to her, you know. That outfit at first is really something else, though. I find my eyes slitting to her chest continuously. No matter how I try to avert my eyes, it's almost as though her chest has its own gravitational field. Okay. It's good to meet you, Anna. I cleared my throat in an attempt to regain my composure, but I'm not sure about your marriage proposal. We've not known one another long enough to consider it, and I'm too young to make such a life-altering decision. We might have to put that on hold for now. What, really? And the pouts. But I was hoping we could be wed forthwith, secured my citizenship upon this planet. I have absolutely no desire to return back home. Won't you miss your family? Somewhat, I suppose. My parents have been nothing but nice to me, but they have always put me under a good deal of pressure. Wherever they speak to me, it is to warn me about my manners or coach me about my eventual ascension to the throne. I have no desire to deal with that sort of stress. I want to read more manga and watch anime, explore this country, and wish to do all that with you, darling. Anna launches herself at me, but I preempted this, and I'm able to shuffle back on the couch before she can envelope me in her embrace. I've gotten pretty good at dodging exultant displays of affection, thanks to the months I've known Hiyori. I guess you could call it a talent of mine. I appreciate the gesture. I eye Anna with some trepidation, my arms folded. But like I said, this is too sudden. I haven't been graduated from university yet. University? Higher education, it comes from after high school. Haven't you read about it in all the manga you like so much? It is a new concept to me. The manga I read all revolve around cute girls and they attend institutions known as high schools. I was not aware human education persisted beyond such boundaries. I guess that's not too surprising. I don't read much manga myself, but from what I know, these kind of things do tend to depict overly idyllic lives of high school students. University, by contrast, is more stressful. You're already an adult by the time you get to university, and you got to start worrying seriously about the future. The university experience is a bit hard to cutify than careless high school antics. This room here that we're sitting in right now, I gesture with my arms, is a club room in the wings of our university. Hiyori and I are both students. She 1 year older than I am. I'm studying physics with the hope of getting a good job once I graduate. I need to work hard or all my efforts, all the money will go to waste. University isn't cheap. I really can't afford to get married now. It isn't very practical. Oh, I see. I suppose I understand. That is unfortunate, but... And his eyes light up. That simply means I will have to wait until you graduate. Then, there will be nothing to stop but our wedding. Yeah, about that. I run a hand through my hair. How long do you think it'll take me to graduate anyway? I don't know. I'm not familiar with human customs such as graduation and your days not pass as they do in the Corval. It is hard for me to give a proper estimate, but would it perchance take 2 of your earthen weeks? What? 2 weeks? I shake my head. I think this girl might be laboring under a misapprehension here. Try 2 years. Huh? And his eyes widen. But that is a long time. It is, yeah. That's why you should probably give up on the idea. I doubt you want to hang around here for that long, waiting on me. It is true, isn't it convenience? Amount of time. I was hoping the process would be much swifter. But if you say I must wait 2 years before you will consider my proposal, then that is what I will do. I do not plan to return to Corvo anytime soon. You see, I would far rather be your wife than a princess. It sounds like fun. She says that before she didn't, she wants to marry me so she doesn't have to become a queen? I don't know if avoidance is the best reason for a couple to get married. But couples on this planet get married for spurious reasons all the time. Love isn't the only factor. Not by a long shot. What Anna's suggesting isn't all that uncommon. Actually, not that I plan to tell her. I don't want to give her any further ammunition to fuel her delusions. Does she actually like me? Anyway, her friendliness is awfully effusive, but perhaps that is just a part of her culture. I'm busy pondering this when, oh, Anna jumps alarm as a low rumbling sound emits from her stomach. Smiling bashfully, she restores hand upon her abotum and says, "My apologies for that most ungracious sound. I apologize if I have caused any offense." "It's alright. You can't help being hungry. Imagine you haven't eaten a while since you left the palace." "That is indeed correct. I was so caught up in my attempts to flee my home planet, but I did not think to eat beforehand. Ravi made me some snacks to eat during my flight. She is my maid, but they were not nearly enough to sustain me. I have had a long journey across the cosmos and I'm rather peckish. I was hoping to stop at moon bugs along the way, but I did not bring any space dolls with me in my haste." Moon bugs? You do not know it? I know something like it. Does it by any chance sell coffee? Yes indeed. How did you know? It was a lucky guess. I am partial to the moonbug's black hole and stardust frappe with proton sauce and extra croissants. But alas, I cannot afford one. I fear I have missed my chance now. Sob sob. I don't know about black hole frappes, but I can make you something warm and nourishing to eat. Can you really? Would that not be a burden? Not at all. Haru and I were planning to have hotspot tonight anyway after we finish stargazing. You're more than welcome to join in. I bought plenty of ingredients. I don't think Haru and I would be able to finish it all anyway. Hotpot? Anna blinks. What is that? Pray tell. Have you heard of it? Anna shakes her head. I presume from the name of it. It is a meal served in a pot at a high temperature, but other than that, I am quite lost. Yeah, that's about right. You fill a pot with a broth, which you warm up over a stove, and you throw a bunch of ingredients into it, mostly meats and veggies. Then you wait for it to cook and pick it out whatever you want. Would that not get violent if everybody is trying to grab its food at the same time? I know, on this planet people eat with sticks that seem useful for gouging. Yeah, they always eat with sticks, but as for me, I tried with sticks, but it's not easy. It's not easy. Are you meant to battle for dominance and stab your opponents in the eye with these sticks? No, you've got it totally wrong. You're not meant to fight over hot pot. That'd be bad manners. You don't need to worry about not getting enough food, and if there's more than enough to eat, I'll make sure to set you aside for some delicious meat. Whoa. Meat. Oh, I see. Thank you for clarifying. I feel at ease now. For a while, I was worried our leisure meal would descend into chaos and anarchy. I guess Ada wouldn't be a fan of anarchism, given her home planet seems to be governed by a royal family. Is that kind of chaotic? Does her family rule over the whole planet, or just part of it? If it's the former, will they be the dictators? Space dictators? I wonder if that plays part in my Anna decides to leave. I'm surprised you never heard of a hot pot though. I'm amused a lot, arms crossed. It's a popular dish, especially in the winter. Families often eat together, and groups of friends. It's a good way to be bond. Did you not come across it in any of the manga you read? No, I did not. I only access to a small handful of series. Even with my family's influence, there's still much I do not know, but I am aware of sushi at the very least. Sushi is not bad. Sushi, huh? Maybe we should have that together sometime. We could order a large platter and share it. Ooh, that sounds good. I would very much like to try it. Maybe we can in the future. For now, let us stick to the hot pot and I'll start preparing all the ingredients. Hiri gets to her feet, then rolls up her sleeves. We shouldn't need to do all that much prep work. Hot pot isn't too hard to make, and it tastes incredible. I'm sure you'll love it, Anna. Just leave everything to me. Alright, let's see. Ooh. So is this the so-called hot pot you spoke of so highly? Oh my gosh. That's right. You just reach out and help yourself to whatever you want, like this. Hiyori picks a few bits of boiled sweet potatoes out of the hot pot, then deposits them in Enna's bowl. They should be good to eat now, though you might want to wait for them to cool down. They just came out of the hot pot, so they're probably pretty hot, I was going to say. Hiyori smiles at Enna indulgently, as a parent might. Enna, meanwhile, is so busy fanning her mouth with one hand, her amber eyes are wide with shock, and her face is flushed. I guess she must have burnt her tongue. She might be particularly sensitive to shifts in temperatures, being an alien. I wonder what the weather is like on her home planet. Are you alright, Enna? Do you need something to drink? I can pour you a cup of barley tea if you like. Oh, no. Enna swallows her mouthful of serially hot sweet potato, then offers Hiyori a smile of reassurance. I am quite alright, thank you for the concern. I did not expect this so-called hot pot to be quite so as well. Hot. Really, now? I raise an eyebrow. The clue is the name. The heat is not unbearable. I was simply taken by surprise, that is all. My tongue does feel rather funny though. Now, though, I believe I shall follow your advice next time and blow all my food before I put it inside my mouth. That should prevent any further mishaps. Don't mind if I blow the load in there. I do hope so. I wouldn't want to hurt you. Hot pot is something you're meant to enjoy if it does make your mouth tingle. Hiyori takes the dish of a sweet potato from her own bowl and blows on it. Then she pops it inside her mouth. She chews for a moment, savoring it, then sighs happily. Now that it really is good. There's nothing I love more than sweet potato. I think I might like it even more than beef. What about you, Enna? Do you like it? Oh yes, this food is quite lovely. It's nothing at all like anything I have had on my home planet. I'm happy to hear it. Try some cabbage next. Some of the sticky rice cake Haru likes so much. Oh, and the beef, it should be done by now. Hiyori picks out more choice items from bubbling pot with her chopsticks, then deposits them in Enna's bowl. Steam is wafting from the hot pot, filling the club room with a scent of cooking meats and vegetables. It is a heavy kind of aroma that'll linger on my clothes for days. But that's a small price to pay, given how delicious it is. I take some beef of my own, before Hiyori can swipe the rest and chow down on it. The meat is sliced into fine strips, so all the flavors from broth can be swept into it. It really is not quite delicious, you know? I know I complain a lot, but I'm starting to think I'm pretty fortunate of that. I can enjoy Hiyori's delicious cooking. I can share a meal with a genuine alien. I mean, I like both, but darn, I don't mind sharing it with a genuine alien. And it might look like your stereotypical alien with green skin and big bug-like eyes. But there's no denying at this point she comes from outer space. Now that's pretty cool, no matter how you slice it. Not that I have any particle desire to slice Enna up. As intrigued as I am, I'm about space. I don't want to see her cut to pieces on an operating table. And I sigh almost as unison as we both swallow mouthfuls of food. I never tasted anything quite like this before. It is so beyond my scope experience. I am not sure I have the words to describe it. This meat is so tender and juicy. It practically melts in my mouth. It's so easy to eat, I can't stop myself. Anna plucks a piece of cabbage from her bowl next, then tries to eat it. As she says tries because her first attempt is a failure, as is the second. Hiyori taught Enna how to use her chopsticks while the hot pot was still boiling, but she's yet to master the heart. I suppose they don't use chopsticks in Corval. Maybe they go in fork knives and forks like they do in the Western countries. Anna's been fumbling with her chopsticks a lot throughout the meal. She splashed both the table and her clothes with broth from the hot pot, but she's so focused on the meal she doesn't seem to care. I'm tempted to offer Anna some help with the chopsticks, but there we go. The third time is, as they say, as saying goes the charm. Finally, Anna's able to maneuver the cabbage to her mouth without incident. She chops down on it quickly, as though afraid it might run away from her, which, given Anna's poor track record with her chopsticks, it just might. It's a miracle that she's not dropped any of her food on the floor yet. She chews the cabbage, crunching it between her teeth, then sighs as she swallows it. This is good, too. It's incredible and good, in fact. Now, that's an overreaction I've ever seen. I've seen someone. I can understand Anna's enthusiasm about the beef, which is high-grade stuff, but this is only cabbage. You can only buy cabbage dirt cheap at any supermarket. They're a staple of a lot of poor people's diet, but maybe they don't grow cabbage on Corval. Anna hasn't seemed familiar with any of the food simmering away in the hot pot. What does she usually eat anyway? You're enjoying yourself, huh? Yes, I am. Anna nods enthusiastically. This cabbage has such an interesting texture. It is very crunchy, like the meat. They complement one another well. All the foods in this pot are so intriguing. None of the separate elements are alike, but that adds the fun to it. These disparate ingredients all come together to create a truly enjoyable experience. That part of the fun, having hot pot, is full of all kinds of good stuff. Speaking of which, starting to run a little low on ingredients. Do you want me to put more meat in Haru? Sure, I still have room for more. I could get more rice cake too. Of course. Hiyori adds a few more ingredients into the bubbly hot pot, then pokes them with her chopsticks. It's a good thing I bought extra beef today. I had a hunch we might need it anyway. This is so good. Anna sighs happily as she takes a bite from the rice cake Hiyori pilfered for her for a few moments earlier. This white substance is so squishy, it is so satisfying to chew. It feels so good between my teeth. Now that I have begun to eat it, it seems I cannot stop. Earthling food is too good. I'm going to get addicted. Anna's eyes bubbling hot spot with eager anticipation, her face flushed with giddy happiness of a child. I knew coming to Earth was a good idea. Your customer is so intriguing. Though I cannot say much about your utensils. These chopsticks are very hard to use, but I suppose that does not add the challenge of it at all. It is hard. Even for my first try, I tried it. This is so much fun. Half an hour later. Ah, that was great. Anna sighs content once she polished off her food that she sent her arrow, now empty bowl, back down on the table. My stomach is nice, full, and I feel warm. This is so-called hot pot. It's not so-called. That's what it's actually called. Has raised my body temperature by a good degree. I feel quite comfortable. I'm very happy to hear that. Though I think you might have made yourself a bit too comfortable. Hiyori giggles as deep yawn forces its way from Anna's mouth. Are you tired? I suppose so, yes. I am not accustomed to eating so much, particularly not dense, carbohydrate packed foods like that. I believe I am in need of rest, so my body can properly process your human cuisine. Now that sounds kind of alarming. I'm starting to worry, despite myself. Are you feeling alright? Anna, the food hasn't made you feel ill, has it? Oh, darling. A wide smile captures Anna's lips. Are you concerned about me? Yeah, I guess. I mean, you are a great guess. Technically speaking, I feel bad if Hiyori and I had poisoned you. It is quite alright, even if such an eventual did come to pass, I would forgive you. I know I mean no ill will. You and Hiyori have been nothing but kind to me from the moment we first met. That is why you are my darling. Anna wins an arm through mine, bringing our bodies closer together. And Hiyori's my best friend. A best friend, am I? Like, that's the sound of that, although. Hiyori finished stacking the dishes, then pouts, her index finger pressed together at her front. I'd rather be your fellow alien. I don't think I'm from Corval, but I'm sure I must hail from somewhere beyond this galaxy. I'm just messing around like that. Yeah, I think I'm going to ignore Hiyori's otherworldly ramblings. I have enough. I have enough on my plate. At the moment. What with Anna's sudden appearance, I can only handle one bona fide alien babe in my life. Fortunately, I do not think this food will cause me any serious injury, though. I only require sleep. That is all. I have had quite the busy day. My escape from the palace and my landing upon Earth were all very exhausting. The so-called hot pot. Should I even bother trying to correct her at this point? If Anna weren't so good-natured, I almost believe she was doing this on purpose. Has finished me off, I am afraid. Anna shifts away from me at long last, her hands resting demurely upon her lap, then glance about the club room. Smiling bashfully, she says, I would hate to be further burdened upon the pair of you, as you have already shown me excessive kindness. But what happened to where I might be able to pass the night? I would very much like to rest my weary head before I fall asleep on the spot. Another yawn punctuates the end of this sentence, which adds further credence to Anna's sleepy state. Her amber eyes bead with tears, which catch on the end of her long eyelashes. She's so noticeably tired, her head is beginning to droop. I'm afraid she really might pass out first face onto the table without some kind of an intervention. She needs to have a lie down at the very least, but what exactly is to be done about this situation? I guess we could take her to a hotel, but that might be the best idea. She's bound to draw attention and get up like that. Plus, we don't know how long she's staying here. Is it possible to say how many days she'd need a room? That could get pretty pricey. Oh, don't worry about the money. I can afford to put up in a hotel forever long she desires. Really? I blink. Do you have that much disposable cash? I don't mean to boast, that's why I don't often speak about it, but my human parents are pretty well off. They give me a lot of money every month, so I don't need to worry about my finances. That's why I'm able to buy so much high-grade beef whenever we have hot pot. I see. I had to wonder about that. I've always thought the hot pots we have in our teeny tiny clubroom were suspiciously bogey. I guess I know why. Still had no idea Hiyori was the skin of a rich family. She doesn't act like a well-bred young lady. I've always pegged her as more of a tomboy. Tomboy GF. She always wear makeup. Her hair is rather plain. Her clothes are nothing fancy. I always figured Hiyori came from a decidedly middle-class family like mine. But I guess not. This is quite the revelation. Now I'm really interested in seeing what her house looks like, but there are more important matters to hand, namely what we're to do with our resident alien girl, Anna. Even if that's the case, I would feel comfortable putting Anna up in a hotel. I can't let you foot the bill. It wouldn't be fair. I cast a pencil look in Anna's direction, and I'd rather keep an eye on her. She knows so little about our culture. She needs somebody to help show her around. Yes, I agree. A hotel wouldn't be practical. Maybe we could let her stay in the club room? I muse. But as soon as I broach the idea, I find myself picking holes in it. No, that's no good. Either I doubt any faculty members I would stop by and find her, but if they did, she'd get in trouble. She's not even a student after all, and even if she was, she'd need permission to stay here overnight. There isn't a proper bed in here either, and it's rather chilly. The windows could use some more insulation. I mean, it is an old place that we're in. Hiyori's not wrong there. This wing of the university is pretty old, as pontificated on a great length already, and the walls feel paper thin. Sometimes the window panes rattle when it gets particularly windy, and in the winter chill air always seems to creep through the gaps in the panel. I pride myself on being rational, but this building always gives me the creeps. I hate to spend the night here alone, assailed by the blowing of the wind. It'd be enough to stretch the thin, even the strongest of nerves. And it deserves better accommodation for the night than this dilapidated room, which still smells of hot pot. I think we best if I let Anna stay in my place. I have a whole house myself with 2 spare bedrooms. There's more than enough room for Anna. What do you think, Anna? Do you want to stay with me? I could run you a nice hot bath to wash your fatigue, and then we can spend the night talking about your home planet. I would love to hear all about it. As an alien myself, we must have a lot in common. We could just be like big sisters. We can braid another hair and watch movies and eat snacks. And then next morning I can make you a delicious breakfast. I enjoy cooking a lot, in the case you couldn't tell. Hot pot is specialty, but I'm good at making fried fish and miso soup too. I'd love to show you what a traditional Japanese breakfast is like. I can see Hiyori's getting excited by the prospect of having a girlfriend about the house. Her eyes are sparkling, just like constellations in the night sky. I think this is a pretty good idea if I do say so myself. I wouldn't go in for the hair braided personally, but I wouldn't turn down a chance to eat breakfast made by Hiyori's hands. I can't see anything at all about Hiyori's offer, but to my surprise, that is alright, but do not concern yourself over so with my welfare. I would not wish for you to go out of your way to accommodate me. While these activities do sound fun, I fear I am in no fit state to engage in anything too intense. Your itinerary would exhaust me. I feel simply tired of simply thinking about it. Oh, I see. Hiyori's shoulder slumps, pouting. She fills with the sleeves of her pink sweater. Don't you want to stay with me? Maybe I will in the future, but for now, and it glances at me, her eyes half-lidded. Would it be alright if I passed my first night upon this planet with you, darling? With me? And a nods. Ah, poor Hiyori. I have grown very fond of you. I'm afraid I will not be able to sleep without you by my side. I run a hand through my hair, abashed. This is the first time a girl's invented herself over to my flat before. Not even Hiyori is so brazen. I'm flattered, but it's all so sudden. It's left me somewhat stunned. I'm glad you trusted me so much, Anna, but that seems a little. I don't know. I am a guy, you know. I am aware you are a male of the human species, yes, and you're a girl. I am indeed a female of the Corvin species that cannot be denied. But should it matter? It matters because guys and girls don't usually spend the night together, not when they've known one another for so little time. It's inappropriate, you know? How is it? Anna frowns. You are not a stranger, darling. You are my future husband. Well, we will be spending a lot of time together soon, as a matter of course, so we must first get used to another company's... That is only logical. I don't know about that. This is all moving pretty quickly. You'd really be better off with Hiyori. She'll take good care of you. She's a great cook. You said you like her hot pot, didn't you? And it sounds like she lives in a huge house. You could have a whole room to yourself. I mean, well, meanwhile, live in this cruddy little apartment. Only guys live there, and they're a little weird. Weird? And then inclines her head. How so? They get kind of jealous if they see me with a girl. They might just lose it. Kosuke especially. I don't want him beating me up. Goodness, will Kosuke do such a thing? I don't know. I wouldn't put it past him. If this Kosuke does hurt you, I will hurt him in return. I will not let anyone lay a finger upon you, darling. Right, oh God. Oh boy. I look Anna up and down. She doesn't seem all that powerful. What's with her willow limbs? But maybe she has shores of hidden strength in that slender body of hers. It is a mystery. What is that aside? My apartment's nothing special. I don't think it'd be much to snuff for a princess like you. There's only a couple of rooms. You'll have to sleep on a futon, and that is alright. And it cuts me off, then shifts close to me upon the couch. She presses her hand to my chest, her fingers curling in on themselves, and looks up at me wistfully. Ugh. Hentai MC eyes. Our eyes met. Anna blinks, her lashes trembling, and says softly, I have grown tired of luxury, having lived in a palace all my life. A change of scenery would be appreciated, and I would be willing to put up with any discomfort for your sake. Please, darling. Anna leans in closer still, until I can feel her warm breath brushing against my cheek. Do not push me away. You're the first human I met when I first arrived upon this planet. That must count for something. Do we not have a connection? I guess so. In your dreams, maybe? Man, this might be the hard decision between the two of us. I can't just be rude like that, but I mean, hey. I guess so, but in your dreams, maybe. This is a tough decision. But that doesn't mean I've got to go along with all your plans. This situation is rather awkward to say at the least. I wish Anna wasn't so insistent. But I think I understand where she's coming from. This is her first night spending upon this planet. She doesn't know much about humans. She does know me. She decides she could trust me. Afterwards, I inadvertently broke her fall during her descent, and now she refuses to spend time with anybody else. She's gotten herself rather attached, like a baby gosling, to her mother. Part of me does think this is cute, but therein lies a problem. I am a guy, Anna is a girl. She's a very pretty girl. In fact, clad in skin-tight outfit, and she seems determined to make me her husband. I'm afraid if we spend too much time together, my mind will begin to overheat from various fantasies, shall we say. Spending the night with Anna in my cramped apartment would be akin to torture. She might be blissfully unaware of what effect her close proximity is having upon my body, but it's weighing down on me. I don't know if I'm mature enough to handle this situation, but are you sure you want to stay with me? I am 100% positive. I can't change your mind. Not even by 1%. And you aren't tempted by Yuri's cooking. It is quite the enticing proposition. But no, I must remain strong, for the sake of our future marriage. It would not do for me to sleep under the roof of another, not after I proposed to you, darling. It was a one-side proposal. I never reciprocated. I'm not sure about this marriage thing, but I glanced over Anna's shoulder to Hiyori. What do you think about all this? I feel so bad about her right now. Ah, jeez. I think it'd be more sensible if Anna stayed with me. I'm sure I have more space and the means to look after her, but she seems attached to you. Hiyori giggles. I feel guilty if I force you to come along with me. As Anna's our guest, I think we should let her do what she wants. Oh dear, I concur. Anna nods eagerly, her hair shifting about her shoulders. I should be allowed to do what I want as a guest, and for tonight, at least I want to stay with you. Anna says for tonight at least, but I have a sinking feeling that things won't work out that simply. Knowing Anna not that I do, not all that well, she'll get attached to my apartment, cruddy though it is, and then she won't have to leave. She'll stay here or there for days, maybe even weeks or months, until she tires of this planet, and I'll have to look out for her. I'll have to cook for her too. My cooking's nowhere near as good as Hiyori's. Anna's losing out, but she doesn't seem to care. Hiyori's, to my surprise, doesn't seem to care at all that much either. I thought she'd be less approving of this arrangement than she is. She really is nice for her own good, or maybe she's simply too pure to know what could go down as a result of this arrangement. Either way, she betrayed me. I've got no allies left in this fight. I tried to do the right thing. Really, I did, but it's 2 against 1. I can't keep arguing, not against Anna's puppy dog eyes. I'm not happy about this, but alright, fine. Now we're going to be in for some torture. I calculated after a pause. You can stay with me, yay! Anna exclaimed cheerfully, her chest pushed up against mine. Thank you, darling. I knew I could rely on you. You really are a wonderful human. Haru's rather wonderful, isn't he? I am partial to him myself. Thanks for the vote of confidence, guys. I glanced away, trying and failing not to focus on them, on the warm, soft sensation you push up modestly against me, and his chest is rather big. And that skin-tight suit of hers is doing nothing to cover her goods. Your outfit isn't really appropriate for wandering the streets, though, Anna. You get a lot of curious stares. Really? Anna tilts her head to one side. Why is that? It's showing a lot of skin. Is it? I thought my attire was rather modest myself. Is it coming from people who hail from Corvo to wear much less? It is a hot planet, and too many layers can be awfully comfortable. Maybe that's true on Corvo, but this is Earth. People tend to not dress like that unless they're cosplaying. I think we will need to get you some clothes if you want to blend in. What do you say, Hiyori? That sounds like a good idea to me. Hiyori giggles. Luckily, it's Saturday tomorrow. We can meet up and go shopping together if you like. We can also show Anna around. I think she might enjoy that. Oh yes! Anna draws away from me at long last and beams brightly, hands clap at her front. I would enjoy that very much. I am most curious about this planet. I want to explore every inch of it. Exploring every inch of Earth might be a bit much, but we can certainly go to Shinjuku and maybe Shibuya. Ah, Shibuya. For those who watch my Undenshin D series, I do race in Shibuya on the Tokyo Denentoshi line and the Tokyo Gyoko line. Go check out my videos for that as well. I'm sure we'll be able to pick out a lot of adorable outfits for you, Edda. You're so pretty. You'll look good in anything. Wonderful. I cannot wait. Anna sighs, her palms pressed against her cheeks. I'm so glad I landed upon this planet. The people are so nice, the food is delicious, and tomorrow I shall explore it to my heart content. I really am lucky. You sure are. But man, what a time. Oh, is this your abode, Haru? It's awfully cozy. Yeah, I guess you could call it that. I wasn't born here, but it's been my home since I enrolled at university. Ah, yes. And a glance about my room, her snub nose twitched like a rabbit. She isn't smelling my room, is she? If so, that'd be kind of embarrassing. I can tell that since this residence belongs to you, it has your scent all over it. Well, I guess that confirms both my suspicions. Annette was indeed sniffing my room, and this revelation is in fact embarrassing. I feel my cheeks turning red, which seems to be a common occurrence around Anna. Her skimpy outfit makes it hard to know where I should be placing my eyes. Simply being around her makes me feel like a creep. I am sorry to hear that, I guess. I remember while running a hand through my flyaway hair. I hope that isn't a problem. Oh no, it's quite alright. I'm glad that this room smells of you. It makes it feel more familiar somehow. Easy there, Tiger. You only know me for a few hours. Don't get too attached. I'm aware indeed. But I would very much like to get to know the better. I think we have a real connection, you and I. Because you crash landed on me on the university's roof. That's right, there are billions of people upon this planet, or so I have heard, yet it was upon you that fell. Our encounter was the most serendipitous. I think that must have counted for something. We were fated to be together. It is written in the stars. In the stars, huh? I am an astronomer myself, but that sounds like some new age mumbo jumbo. If ever I've heard it. I didn't think Anna being an actual alien from actual space would be interesting in the horoscopes. Maybe I was mistaken. Do they even have horoscopes on our planets? I have no idea, but there must be some crossover between Corvo and Earth. Alien customs. Aliens though she is, Anna doesn't feel like an extraterrestrial. If it weren't for her strange attire, coupled with her strange turns of face, I think her and an ordinary girl just like. Well, maybe not quite like Hiyori, who isn't all that normal herself, but like any of my other classmates. I wish to familiarize myself with your planet and with its culture. With some luck, that should bring me even closer to you, darling. Wow, you sure enthused, huh? Oh yes, when I was set to my mind to something, I give it my all. I am being very earnest right now. I'm glad to hear it. I guess it seems like you know quite a bit about Earths already, though. I know some things, but I could always stand to discover more. I was interested in your culture and involve myself in your daily life. I'm very interested in your planet and in you, darling. Yeah, I figure as much. You're not being exact subtle on that score. You're doing a pretty good at interrogating too. I mean, you are in my room. Yeah, I suppose I am. My first few hours upon this planet have gone better than I even could have anticipated, and I have always been an optimist at heart. I am so fortunate that I ran into a kind man like you. Though I know little of your species, I doubt many will be willing to let a stranger like me stay with them. This proves my early hypothesis. You really are a good person. Nah, I'm just a pushover. You are selling yourself short. Anna stabs a finger in my direction, her pale green dressing shifting about her shoulders. You are nice, that cannot be contested. I believe it will be wholeheartedly based upon your actions. Anna sniffs again, her nostrils quivering. And upon your scent. So we're back to my smell again, are we? Does this girl share some DNA with her bloodhound? Now I'm getting self-conscious, and I was already pretty self-conscious. Given Anna's scantily clad presence in my bedroom, this is the second time you've mentioned that. I frown. Are you trying to say that I smell? You do, yes, but it is not an unpleasant smell. I have grown very fond of it. Anna inhales deeply, her long eyelashes falling shut. I feel so relaxed. I'm glad one of us does. I've been on edge ever since Anna and I left the campus. I was exceedingly anxious during our trek back to my apartment about running into any passers-by. They almost certainly would have been suspicious, and given Anna's appearance. I did lend Anna my coat during our walk to cover up, but I could not hardly let her borrow my shoes. She had to traipse back barefoot, which to my surprise didn't seem to bother her. At the very least, she showed no outward sign of discomfort. So, maybe the souls of Corvins, or whatever people are called, are made of tougher stuff than human souls, huh? I wonder if she's particularly ticklish. No, we don't want to get into that foot fetish stuff. Yeah, I see where we're all getting down to this. That might be something to test out. Oh, no. But no, I'm not getting distracted. Speaking of distractions, Edda was awfully taken by all the sights we passed during our walk back. She stopped to stare at every little thing which took her fancy, which reduced our pace to snails. Crawl. I never seen anybody gush over a vending machine before. I didn't know such a thing was possible, but Anna managed it. Tonight has been full of surprises. And it's further miracle I didn't alert any of my housemates when bundling Anna inside the apartment. Trying to explain her presence away to Kyoichi and the others would have been a nightmare. I'll probably have to face them at some point though. If Anna means to stay here, she'll definitely end up running into them. My apartment is small and old, and the walls are thin. Noise travels down the hallway with ease. It'd be impossible to hide a pet hamster in here undetected, let alone a girl. Thinking about it is enough to give me a headache. I can't help but feel anxious. Oh well, there are problems for me of the future to worry about. Right now, I have more pressing concerns. Ah yes, this floor beneath the feet feels so good. It's very refreshing. I believe I have heard it said such that flooring called tatami in your country. Yeah, that's right. This is tatami. It's pretty old tatami too. At that, it's really nothing special. I beg to differ. Your planet is full of interesting sights and smells. Why it's overflowing with them? We have nothing like this on Corwell, or this, or this. Anna hops about my room, like bunny eyes wide, as she examines my things. She takes looks from my shelves and flips through them, riffles through my sock drawers, then gets down on her haunching to peer at the electrical outlet where my latch is currently plugged in. She pokes at the outlet with one finger, her eyes wide. Ooh, how intriguing. I can sense power flowing from this particular fixture upon your wall. What could it be for? I must investigate this matter further. That doesn't warrant investigation. It's just an electrical outlet. Electrical? It's a form of energy, I frowned. Explaining the concept of electricity to an alien from another planet was Not how I anticipate my Friday evening going. How we use electricity to power a lot of our appliances. It makes our TVs work and our laptops and our phones. It's very useful. Mainly, yeah, appliances in general. You just said, damn it. Well, it sounds like a most valuable resource. I imagine only the wealthiest of your Earthlings can afford this so-called electricity. Must be reserved for royalty. Hey, Haru, and appears at me over his shoulder. Are you an Earthling prince? Yeah, right. I snort. Do you really think a prince would live in a round dump like this? I'm just a regular guy. You say that, yet you are able to control this electricity at will. Surely that is an immense privilege. Not really. Most people have access to electricity regardless of how wealthy they are. It's an integral part of most people's lives. I mean, it's not free. You gotta pay for it though. Like, if you have your own house with electricity, you gotta pay for that stuff. Like, it's not free. Our society wouldn't be much able to function without it. It's like a basic human right at this point. Now come away from the socket. I don't want you electrocuting yourself. Oh my! And it gets to her feet and brushes her thighs free of lint. Are these electrical outlets dangerous? They can be. If you poke around at them like that, it's not a toy. Try to be more careful. I understand. I shall endeavor not to cause you any problems, darling. Thanks, it's appreciated. I smile at Anna, and she smiles in return. While her presence is a bit of an annoyance, I can't be angry with her, not when she's so very earnest. I know she doesn't mean to cause any problems, she simply can't help but to be enamored by all Earth has to offer. She's never been to this planet before, after all. The things I take for granted must all seem very new and strange to her. By the way, I look up and down, my arms crossed. I thought you said you were tired. Oh yes, and a blank surprise. I was so taken by your abode. My fatigue escaped my attention. I had quite forgotten about my own condition until now. You forgot that you were sleepy? Yes, I suppose I did. I can be rather scatterbrained at times. I'll say. I raise an eyebrow. This girl really is an airhead. I bet she's the sort who skips meals once she gets ensconced in a task. Not that I have much room to judge on that score. I can get hyper focused on tasks too, particularly when space is involved. Back when I was a kid, CJ used to have to tear me physically away from the telescope when we were out stargazing. I was so enthralled by the night sky, all seemed to fade away. Anna must be experiencing something similar, but 10 times more intense. Do you want to get ready for bed? I doubt you'll have to wear those clothes to sleep, so you can borrow one of my spare shirts. Is that alright? I would not wish to inconvenience you. It's not a problem. I have a lot of button-up shirts anyway. I smile. I think it's a bit too late to worry about that inconveniencing me. After all, you but begged me to let you stay here. I did not beg, I simply asked. And quite intense at that. Well, maybe. I could not stand to be apart from you, darling. We do have a connection after all. Yeah. I roll my eyes. We've been through this rigmarole before. I don't want to add further fuel to this particular fire. Anna's attached enough as it is. Without me enabling her, I'll dig out one of my shirts for you. And you can sleep in the spare futon I've set up for you, luckily. For you, I had an extra. Could I not sleep instead with you? No way, we don't have one another that well. I'm not the kind of guy who will sleep with a woman after one night. Like, do you think I'm some kind of a opportunistic, some scumbag? Those are the last words I would use to describe you, Starling. You are far too dear to perform any wicked deeds. That is precisely why I wish to sleep with you. I know I can trust you. Maybe you can trust me, but I can't trust you. But I'm shy. I'm blushing maiden. Like, you can keep your hands to yourself, all right? I can make no promises on that score. I am afraid. And all right then. I'll try to do my best. But please forgive me if I err in my judgment. I am very fond of you after all. Yeah, I figured so. I glanced about my room. All of a sudden, it seems very small. If I lay out both futons, there will be barely any floor left. The thought of passing the night with Anna is starting to make my heart pound. This is going to be a very close-knit arrangement. Will my heart be able to handle it? I guess I got no choice. I need to tough it out. Do you want to have a bath before you sleep? I addressed Anna once more, forcing my voice and my face into some semblance of casualness. I don't want Anna to know how much I'm beginning to freak out about this. It should help soothe you after your long journey. It'll help you get to sleep faster. And I append inside my head, if you go to sleep quickly, you'll be less of a distraction. And that sounds like a pleasant suggestion indeed. I am partially taking long, relaxing soaks in Palace Bath House. It is one of my favorite pastimes, in fact. I fear I do not know how baths work upon this planet, though I am a novice when it comes to Earth and its customs. Would you mind showing me your bath functions? Sure, I was going to offer my help anyway. I wouldn't want to throw you in at the deep end. Or I append within my head, risking you flooding the bathroom. Oh no. I don't think my housemate would take very kindly up to that. Oh boy. 22 minutes later. Oh dear. Well, yeah. Oh, this feels wonderful. This warm water is so refreshing. Thank you very much for running this bath for me. I feel like a new woman. You are so incredibly thoughtful. I'm glad to see you enjoying yourself so much, but what? Anna glanced at me curiously, her head tilted to one side. She's reclining in my bathtub, her long hair trailing across the surface of the water like pondweed, rubbery forms about her thighs, and droplets of water trickle slowly down her shoulders. The air is muggy from the heat of the freshly drawn bath, and the towels are flush as Anna's face. I thought her skin-tight suit was revealing, but she's showing even more skin now. I can see the smooth couches of her shoulders, the ridge of her clavicle, and her full thighs. She looks almost too good for words. I stared at her transfixed. But no, I can't afford to let myself get carried away. It'd be wrong to glob at her body so shamelessly, and I might not be careful about little things like propriety, but I do. You shouldn't have stepped into the bathtub while I was still in the room. That's not considered appropriate in this country, or in many countries that I can think of. Not between two strangers of the opposite sex. But we're not strangers, silly. You're my darling. We know one another very well indeed. I cannot think why there would be a problem with this arrangement. We are going to know one another intimately over the course of the next few days, so we might as well start now. Is that something you've decided? Yes, indeed. Don't you have something to say in the matter? Don't you want to be intimidated with me? No, not really, no. Nah. It's not that I want to, but I guess, but, jeez, I sighed but hold a hand to my temple. I feel my blood rush to my cheeks, dyeing them scarlet. I'm not so noticeably flushed by this. It's humiliating. I suppose I'd rather my blood go to my face than another, more sensitive part of my anatomy. Now that I really would be something to get worked up over, let me just reiterate this. I tried to sound calm, but my best attempts are thwarted by the tremor in my voice. I don't think Anna means any to entice me. She's not doing anything suggestive beyond lying there, but she's prompting quite the reaction. I was only trying to show you how the bathtub works. I expect you to strip off and have your bath once I left the room. What are you doing right now isn't common at all. Not in my culture. You shouldn't be so keen to show me your naked body. Well, no, really. Really. Anna frowns. I don't see why that should be the case. There is nothing shameful about being naked. It's perfectly natural. In Corvo, people were not so half-naked to think about such affairs. Perhaps they were in Corvo, but were not on Corvo anymore. This planet Earth, you need to play by the rules. Don't strip off in front of other people, alright? It's not so bad inside my apartment where nobody else can see you, but if you do it in public, you'll get in trouble. I'm warming you off for your own good. Oops, my bad. For the sake of my own heart, I say, and a brow furrows. I had no consideration to this, but you have mentioned it. I shall strive to remember. I'll be more discreet about whom I show my naked body to and under what circumstances. That sounds good. See to it that you do. And that is the end of today's video, everyone. So thank you everyone for watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.